Hello and welcome to Freak Boy Runs. I just finished my Kipchoge Track 1 session during week 24 of my 27-week Dallas training cycle. I only have one more speed session left and one more big long run left before I start my taper. And this track session was pretty tough, but I felt good. The session was kilometer repeats where I have to do 13 of them. 1 kilometer followed by a 90-ish second rest. I was normally taking about 1 minute and 20 seconds, around there. But each kilometer got successively faster. So the idea was that you start off at 10 seconds per kilometer, slower than marathon pace, or 15 seconds per mile, slower than marathon pace, depending on your preference. And then each kilometer you successfully increment it a little bit faster by 1, 2, 3 seconds. The idea is to try and maintain control and just do those small increments. And then at the end, after 13, I was supposed to be doing 10 seconds per kilometer or 15 seconds per mile faster than marathon pace. So I have to say I'm really happy with the way I executed it. There's no such thing as a perfect execution, but that was about as good as I could have done it. Every repeat was right in the range where I wanted it to be. 1, maybe 3 seconds faster for the most part. Then on the last one, I did what I normally do. I kind of dropped the hammer as much as I could to finish strong. And so I finished that last kilometer at probably a good 30 seconds per mile faster than marathon pace, maybe 20-ish seconds faster per kilometer. So each kilometer was faster than the previous, and that last one was my fastest, and it's exactly what I was looking for. So I'm really happy with that. You know, I had a bit of nerves going into this last week. I'm trying not to get run over by a car here. A little nerves going into this last week because I just don't want to injure myself. I don't want to just push myself too hard on the very last week of the intense training and end up injuring myself. So I think I succeeded in not doing that. I feel pretty good. Got the Kipchoge fartlek session on Thursday, and then that's also a double run day. So that Kipchoge fartlek will be tough, but not as tough as the last couple of weeks. This week I only do 1 minute in zone 2, 1 minute in zone 4, and I repeat that a bunch of times in that fartlek. So, and then I'll have I think a 5 or 6 kilometer very easy run in the late afternoon or early evening of Thursday. And then my final long run on Sunday, you know, I'll continue doing long runs, you know, longish runs, longer runs than the rest of the week. You know what I mean by long run. But I won't be doing the ones with hot spots and the super long runs after this Sunday. On Sunday I'll be doing, I think, 18 miles, and it's got, I think, 13 kilometers of hot spots in it. So it's lighter than last week, but still punchy. Anyways, that's my update for today. I'm in a good mood. I'm happy with the way it went. We'll see you back here on Thursday. Just getting to the end of my warm-up, my 2-mile warm-up for the Kipchoge Fartlek 1, in which I'm going to do 25 repeats of 1 minute in zone 2, 1 minute in zone 4. I'm not going to be able to operate the camera during those repeats, so put it away for now, and we'll see you on the other side. Oh, there it is. All of the Kipchoge speed work is done for this training cycle. All of the track sessions, all of the fartleks. This one was probably, if I dare say, felt a little bit easier than I expected. Not easy by any means, but not quite as brutal as I thought it might be. I kept my pace at about a 5K pace for the faster bits, maybe just a bit slower in the beginning, sped up towards the end. The last 2, I think, were probably my fastest. The last one was for sure my fastest. They were just 1 minute long, so that's one of the reasons they're not as bad. You can get through anything that only lasts a minute. And so those are all done. I'll have a easy 6K run this afternoon, maybe late this afternoon, early evening, and then that 30 kilometer or 18 mile long run on Sunday, and that takes me into the taper. So I almost don't want to say it and jinx myself, but I don't really believe in jinxes, so I will say it. I'm feeling pretty good. Just got to get through that long run, and then the risk goes dramatically down. Beautiful day today, if you can't tell. Kind of cold for a morning run, but I don't mind that. Just layered up a little bit, wore some gloves, and it's all good. Prefer that to drenching myself in sweat in the heat. So I'll put it away for now, and I'll see y'all on Sunday morning for the long run. Well, it's Sunday. Another overcast Sunday, which doesn't bother me at all, as it should keep the temperatures down. Today's going to be a little bit warm later, but it's only just after 7 a.m. right now. Just under, I don't know, 60 degrees, maybe 58 degrees Fahrenheit. What's that, about 16 degrees Celsius or so. I got 30 kilometers today. That's 18 miles. I may do a bonus mile at the end depending on how I feel, but it's going to be run with 4-kilometer hot spots. So first 3 kilometers just easy running, then the 4-kilometer hot spots, and then I repeat that 3 times, and then some funny business at the end with 3 kilometers and then a 3-kilometer hot spot, something like that. I can't remember. I think it's 15 kilometers of marathon pace running total. And then that'll be it for the really big long runs. And as I've already said, the really hard interval sessions are already done as well. That's not to say it's a cakewalk. For the rest of the 3 weeks, this next week is still a little bit punchy. I've got a interval session on Tuesday with 8-kilometer repeats, and next Sunday's long run is still 14 miles. So not nothing, but quite a bit easier than what I've been doing these last few weeks. I'll pull the camera out from time to time, particularly when I'm doing my hot spots. Just want to keep getting the feel for that. So we'll see you in a minute. In the middle of my first hot spot, first 2 kilometers were each 4:41. That was about a 7:35 per mile pace. Feels not too bad. Heart rate's a little higher than I'd like it, but I'm going against a pretty stiff wind here, so we'll see how that changes when I turn around and go the other direction. Can't hold this camera for any longer though. Gotta go. Just started my second hotspot. I was right about the wind affecting my heart rate. I managed to get back down into low zone 2 during the easy pace section. And I think I'm just in high zone 2 right now. So we'll keep an eye on it. But going with the wind, it's a lot better. On my third easy section here. So far, my consistency has been good. I think all marathon pace reps have been between 4 minutes and 40 seconds and 4:43. So I like that consistency. I got 2 more hot spots. The next one is 4 kilometers, and then the last one I think is 3. And that should add up to 15 kilometers at marathon pace. I'm still considering doing 1 bonus mile at the end at a fast pace just to finish strong, but gonna play that by ear. Just about finished. Doing an extra 2 kilometers. Mile pace around 7:14 per mile. Be a total 19 miles, 31 kilometers. I think that's it. That's it. I'm back at my car. I'm gonna get a drink and then do some walking to cool down. Yeah, that was pretty good. I have to say, that felt a lot better than last week's session, even though I was going into a pretty strong headwind, you know, for about 50% of it. It felt pretty good. My consistency was very good. My overall pace, I think, was, you know, a little bit quicker than last week. I had checked my session, you know, the same session that I did here as this one before Boston back in March. I'd run 18 miles on that one, 29 kilometers, and I did it in 2 hours and 36 minutes. Today I ran 19 and a quarter miles, and that was 31 kilometers. I did that in 2 hours and 34 minutes. So 2 minutes quicker, or 2 minutes less, I should say, with an extra mile and a quarter. So you know, that kind of bodes well for my hopes of targeting a pretty strong PB in Dallas. Confidence is high. I had a few aches and pains here and there throughout this run, but nothing that persisted. It was all just temporary stuff, just kind of normal. The longest lasting one was in my left knee for a while, and I thought, at first I thought maybe I T-band, but it was a little bit more towards the front of the knee, and that's more like the runner's knee type of situation. But it didn't last all that long. It hung around for maybe, came and went for a couple of kilometers, and then it never came back. I did feel real good, so I did throw in that bonus mile. In fact, it was a bonus 1.25 miles because I made it an extra 2 kilometers. I got my results here that I can read out, just to kind of go over my consistency a little bit, which I was so happy with. These are just the hotspot kilometers where I was running a marathon pace, and this is generally in the area of 7 minutes and 35 seconds per mile, but I'm going to give you how long it took me to run each kilometer. In the first set of 4 kilometers, in the first set of hotspots, or the first hotspot there, first kilometer was 441.7, and then next one was 441.5. Then I did a 438.1 and a 440.8. So those were all really tight, you know, kind of within a 4-second range there. You can't complain with that. Then on the next set of hot spots, pretty similar numbers. 441.5 on the first kilometer, 441.9 on the second, 440.9 on the third, and 443.7 on the fourth. And then the third set of 4 was 442.3 and 442.7, 443.4 and 443.6. And then the next set of hot spots was just a 3 kilometer grouping, and I was trying to speed up here, so mind you, these start to get faster, and I was speeding up on purpose, trying to finish strong. 441.4 and then a 437.5 and a 4:34.6. That 4:34.6 was a mile pace there was, I think, around 7 minutes and 28 seconds per mile. And then those last 2 kilometers I did at about 7 minutes and 14 seconds per mile. So I'd have to average those out because I just have them in a big 1.25 chunk here. But looks to be like so 9 minutes. Thank you. Let's see, 10. 4:30. I don't know, low 4:30s. So pretty quick. I didn't really want to drop the hammer and try and go all out. I just wanted it to be quick. You know, I wanted to push myself, but I didn't want to push myself so hard that I injured myself here right on the very last of the monster sessions. So, I don't really know what to say besides it feels good to have gotten to the taper. I wonder if you guys can hear those bagpipes playing. That's so pretty. Where is he? Maybe he'll come closer. Yeah, I'm really happy with the results of this week overall. It went better than I was expecting. You know, last week was kind of tough, but you know, those weeks happen, and it doesn't mean it's always going to be tough. Today was, you know, I felt good throughout, and even really the speed sessions earlier in this week, they were hard, but I felt pretty good. So this has given me a lot of confidence going into my 3-week taper here. I think I'll do, you know, another check-in on my next week, since there is some significant running still to come. You know, it's not as much as what I've been doing, but I've got that one punchy speed session and the 14-mile long run next Sunday with, I think, 6 kilometers of hot spots. So I'll probably, you know, be trying to do a real consistent set of hot spots there that are somewhere near the top end of my planned marathon pace. You know, as you know, I'm still on the fence as to what exactly I'm going to try there, but I have a pretty good feeling that I'm going to start at 7 minutes and 40 seconds per mile at the beginning. That's like 4:45 or 4:46 per kilometer. I'm going to just start there just to be conservative. I really, really believe in starting conservative in any race and then judging how I feel, because it's always a lot easier to make up, you know, 20, 30 seconds that you may have lost at the beginning. You can make that up in the end if you have a lot of energy left. But if you overcook it, you end up losing a lot more than you gain. So pretty sure I'll start off at that pace, something like that, around a 7:40 per mile pace, probably for the first 3 miles, 5K, and then possibly just start inching it up from there. If that feels like it's real good, then, you know, I'll start inching up from there, and if I'm not sure, then I'll stick with that pace until I do feel good. And if that pace feels like the best I can do, well, guess what? It's still going to be a pretty good PB for me. So I'm not going to complain if that ends up being my overall pace for the whole race. So we'll see how that goes. But I'll sign off for now. And as usual, if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe if you haven't already done that. Comment and share if you dare. And until next time, I'm Freak Boy Runs. Freak Boy out.